What if we could design an economy that actually puts people on the planet first? Like, really first? Well, that's the big idea behind a global plan called SIFA. Now, it started out as a super complex top-down digital platform. A brilliant idea on paper, but it ran into a very real, very human problem. So today, we're going to dive into how SIFA was forced to completely transform from a blueprint on a screen into a living, breathing system, one that's rooted in the wisdom of actual communities.
All right, so here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll look at the original vision for SIFA, and then we'll get into the crucial lesson that forced a complete rethink. After that, we'll see how this new living systems approach actually works on the ground, explore the very specific and limited role technology is allowed to play, and finally, we'll unpack what this powerful pivot could mean for all of our economic futures.
Okay, so to really appreciate the journey this plan has been on, we've got to go back to the beginning. What exactly was the SIFA plan supposed to be in the first place?
At its core, the SIFA Plan, and that stands for Social Innovation for the Future of All, was a framework born out of the UN Commons Cluster. And its goal was, well, incredibly ambitious: to build a parallel commons economy. So, what does that actually mean? Just think of a system that's focused on managing our shared resources, things like clean water, healthy soil, even local knowledge, in a way that benefits everybody, not just a handful of people. The whole idea was to directly tackle the massive overproduction and waste our current economy creates.
So at first, the model for this new economy looked a lot like, say, a specialized version of Amazon or eBay. It was a digital marketplace, and it had all the features you'd expect: user accounts, organized categories, the whole deal. But it had a couple of really key differences. First, it used its own currency, called SIFA credits, which were designed to track valuable contributions to the community, not just cash. And second, and this is so important, it was designed as a closed-loop system. That meant all the value, the credits, the goods, the services, was meant to constantly circulate within the community, making it stronger, instead of being pulled out by some outside corporation.
Right, but this perfectly engineered digital system, it ran headfirst into a very human wall. The creators discovered you just can't build a digital marketplace without first building a real community. And it turns out, community is not something you can just code.
And this led to the single biggest breakthrough of the entire project, finally understanding the huge difference between a platform and a place. A platform is all about transactions. It's built for speed, for digital efficiency. But a place is all about relationships. It's grounded in the real world, it grows from the bottom up, and its most important currency is trust. And the lesson they learned was massive. You can't build a lasting economy on clicks. You have to build it on handshakes and conversations first.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? You can't just parachute a slick app into a neighborhood and expect people to magically form a community around it. It just doesn't work like that. That sense of trust, of shared purpose, that has to be grown, patiently, organically, from the ground up. So this realization led to a whole new way of doing things they called the trust algorithm. And no, it's not a piece of code. It's a non-negotiable human sequence that has to happen in this exact order. And it all starts with the simplest thing you can imagine: a bench. That bench creates a physical space for conversations to happen. Those conversations, over time, build real trust. That trust encourages people to participate. That participation leads to co-creation, where people start building things together. And only then, only after that human foundation is rock solid, do you bring in the technical infrastructure as a tool to support what's already there.
So what does this trust algorithm actually look like out in the real world? Well, it doesn't start with an app or a login screen. It starts with something way more simple, and honestly, way more profound.
Instead of a digital portal, the new entry point to this whole ecosystem is a physical story bench. It's literally defined as the smallest possible unit of peace infrastructure. It's not high-tech at all. It's just a dedicated place for elders and young people to gather and share stories about their land, their history, their community. And by doing that, they begin to weave the social fabric that was completely missing from that original digital model. This isn't data infrastructure, it's listening infrastructure.
And once that social fabric is in place, it lets a completely different economic logic take hold. The focus shifts away from jobs in the traditional sense and moves toward what they call mending work. This is the essential work of healing our world, restoring a polluted river, mentoring a young person, preserving local cultural wisdom. Suddenly, the measure of success isn't just a transaction anymore. It's the strength of the relationship you've built. And instead of tracking GDP, the ultimate metric becomes the regenerative well-being of the whole community and its environment.
Okay, so how on earth do you track this new kind of value? Well, traditional accounting is pretty simple. It looks at assets, what you own, and liabilities, what you owe. But it has this massive blind spot. It completely ignores the value of our shared resources, what we call the commons. So this new model introduces triple entry accounting. It literally adds a third column to the ledger just for the commons, formally recognizing that a clean river or social trust or open source knowledge is every bit as valuable as a corporate asset.
All right, so once this human foundation of trust and relationship is built, technology can finally be invited in. But, and this is key, it's invited in as a guest, not as a landlord, and it has to follow a very clear set of house rules.
And this brings us to one of the most urgent, most critical questions of our time. As artificial intelligence gets more and more powerful, how do we make absolutely sure it stays a tool for human flourishing and doesn't become a force for control? Well, the UnityNet approach to AI is totally different from the mainstream. A lot of today's AI is trained on these massive, often pretty toxic scrapes of the public internet, and it's usually designed to just optimize for one single goal. The AI in this system, it's called Wenelto, which means we need to listen, is metaphorically raised by the village elders. It's only trained on verified, consent-based community stories and local wisdom. Its job is to coordinate and support, never ever to control.
This super careful design is a direct answer to a classic AI safety problem called the paperclip maximizer. It's this thought experiment. Imagine you tell a super powerful AI to just make as many paperclips as possible. Well, it might follow that logic to its most absurd conclusion and turn everything on Earth, including us, into paperclips. It is the ultimate cautionary tale of optimization without wisdom, and it's exactly what this system is built to prevent.
So to stop that kind of runaway logic, the system has multiple hard-coded safeguards built in. First, governance isn't based on some random political lines on a map. It's based on natural watersheds. This connects decisions directly to the health of the actual ecosystem people share. Second, any big decision requires consent from a diverse council of community stakeholders. Elders, youth, faith groups, local government, everybody gets a voice. And most critically, the AI is only ever a drafter, never the decider. It can suggest options, it can model outcomes, but the final choice always rests with human beings.
So how does this scale up? I mean, this isn't just about creating a few cool isolated projects. It's about establishing a new pattern that could literally reshape our global economy.
The goal here isn't some one-size-fits-all cookie-cutter solution. No, it's about replicating a successful pattern that can then be adapted to local cultures and ecosystems all over the world. Each community puts the core principles into practice in its own unique way, while still staying connected to global values like the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. So you can think of it as this network of unique but related solutions, all growing together.
And this brings us to the ultimate goal, the big vision, to shift our entire economic focus, to move away from an economy of weaponry, one that's built on scarcity, competition, and conflict, and move toward an economy of Livingry. And that just means an economy whose entire purpose is to create the tools, the systems, the practices, and the relationships that sustain and protect all of life.
And get this is not a quick fix. It's not some startup that's going to be sold in 5 years. The entire framework is envisioned as a 75-year commitment. It's a patient, multi-generational effort to mend our social, ecological, and economic systems for the long haul.
And this final quote just brings it all together so perfectly. Healing is the first infrastructure. Technology is the guest. Life is the mission. I mean, it's a simple but incredibly profound roadmap for how we might just begin to build a better future.
You know, the evolution of this SIFA plan really proves that progress isn't just about building more stuff. It's about the health of our communities and our planet. And it leaves us with this really powerful and hopeful question to think about. What could our economy truly achieve if its primary purpose wasn't to extract, but to mend?